Hello, I am the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. After their defeat by the Night Lords and the loss of a potential stronghold, the Necrons are determined to both destroy the Chaos Marines and retake the Faerie Castle. A mighty force is dispatched to do this. The Night Lords haven't been idle. A Noctilus crown has been erected, and a Chaos Knight Desecrator from House Demong has also arrived. The Night Lords have mounted an inspired defense, and we'll see how they do. So for today's Chaos Defense, we have this Chaos Lord with a Thunderhammer, a Plasma Pistol, and a 9-man squad of Space Marines, Plasma Gun, and the Aspiring Champion has a a Power Fist, and a Plasma Pistol. Another 9-man squad of Space Marines, this one with a Heavy Bolter. The Aspiring Champion just has a Chainsword and a Plasma Pistol. And then a 10-man squad with a Heavy Flamer and here's just a regular flamer and an autocannon. And the guy has a Power Axe. We have some Psychers, a Sorcerer with Infernal Gaze, which does damage, and Prescience, which gives Astartes +1 to hit. And we have a Master of Possession. He has Infernal Power that gives demons a bonus to hit. Reroll one of things. And Incursion that lets him summon during the psychic phase instead of during the movement phase. They also both know Smite. Demon Prince, who gets summoned in, also knows Infernal Gaze, a damage dealing thing, and Smite. Master of Executions, a pair greater possessed, an individual, a unit of one each obliterators, a Chaos Rhino that brought in some of these Space Marines but did not make it out yet, a Venom Crawler, a Chaos Knight Desecrator. So proud of this guy. He's killed Billy's Night Castle in twice for me. It's been so awesome. And a Noctilus Crown to help out the Psychers. And going up against them to try and retake the castle is this force of Necrons led by this Necron Overlord with a Void Scythe, helped out by this Lord, Oricon the Diviner, nice named character. 3 identical squads of 10 Immortals with the Tesla Carbines. 3 Hexmarks Destroyers that can teleport in if such a need for them arises. The 3 Heavy Destroyers, the 2 Gauss Destructors, and the Amnitic Devastator. 6-man squad of Scorpack Destroyers, the Plasma Sight. The Tantra, the Void Dragon, who knows Voltaic Storm and Antimatter Meteor, and then a Transcendent Catan, who knows Transdimensional Thunderbolt and Cosmic Fire, and finally a Monolith. Yeah, the Necrons want their castle back. So, we'll go into deployment and see how this is going to turn out. I guess I have to show you what we're deploying onto. The Faerie Castle. Yeah, the Night Lords definitely got rid of the village, so no more dead gnomes, at least for this one. So now, deployment. So after the deployment, we have the Heavy Bolter Space Marine squad next to the castle. The Noctilus Crown also next to the castle, with the Master Possession and the Sorcerer right in front of it. The Venom Crawler near them, some extra support. There's an Obliterator on that level of the castle with the 2 greater possessed about to charge out. The other Obliterator right there. The Master of Executions, the Chaos Lord, and the Plasma Gun, the Space Marine squad are all hanging out on the bottom of the castle there. The Autocannon Flamer Space Marine squad On this side of the castle with the Chaos Knight also there. The Demon Prince to be summoned in, and Warp Talons that I think I forgot to mention in the army description to come in if necessary. On the Necron side, we have Immortals, Heavy Destroyer, more Immortals, Scorpack Destroyers, yet more Immortals, Orkan the Diviner over on their side, Void Dragon, the Overlord, the Monolith, and the other Catan, and the Lord. Yeah, I just feel excited about this. So the Hexmark Destroyers ready to pop in if they feel it's necessary. We'll see how that goes. So as a defense game, the attackers go first. So Necrons turn 1. Movement. And probably Catan powers. Well, this was the fastest that I've ever seen Necrons move in my 3 years now, I guess, of playing them. So everything pretty much advanced. Everything advanced at least 3 extra inches. Void Dragon went 6. That group of Immortals got 6 extra inches. Pretty much everything just advanced and moved forward. The Monolith just stayed there because I guess for this first round, it and the Chaos Knight are not going to do anything. And the next turn we'll have them do crazy things. So there's nothing in Catan power range, and the only things that can actually shoot are these Heavy Destroyers. And they are indeed going to shoot. So, yeah. Well, after all of that movement forward, there was a disappointing shooting round. The Heavy Destroyers killed one Space Marine. Too far away to charge. No morale. So we'll go on to Chaos, turn 1. So for movement, these Greater Possessed charged forwards. The Master of Execution just kind of stepped out a little bit, and that was it for movement. For the Psychic phase, the Sorcerer tried to cast Prescience on these guys and failed. And the Master of Possessions managed to cast Infernal Power on the Obliterator. Well, cast Infernal Power, and now the Obliterator rerolls 1s for hidden wounds in the shoot phase. But he periled, so there's that. Yeah. So yeah, we're on to the shooting phase. If my girlfriend is watching this video, yes, I killed the spider. Well, after a very surprising Night Lord shooting round, the Heavy Bolter did 1 damage to the Heavy Destroyers, and then this Obliterator killed a Heavy Destroyer and definitely wounded another one. This Obliterator killed 2 of these Destroyers. None of them were able to reanimate. The Venom Crawler tried shooting at these guys over here, Heavy Destroyers, but nothing happened. The Greater Possessed already advanced, so he can't charge. So that takes us on to Necron turn 2. Movement and Catan powers, most likely. So the movement round was much like the first one, where the Necrons just pretty much advanced with all abandon. All 3 of these Immortal squads advanced forward. Everything else just pretty much normal move. Still moving forward. The Monolith showed some signs of life and moved its 8 forward. So Orkan the Diviner did not become empowered. Transcendent Catan cast Transdimensional Thunderbolt and did a point of damage to this Greater Possessed. And the Void Dragon did something. Voltaic Storm on this Greater Possessed. damage to him. So we'll go on to Necron shooting. Well, the Immortals put in some work. So this group of 10 killed 3 of these Space Marines. This group of 10 killed one of the Space Marines in the castle. And that group of 10 killed the Greater Possessed that was over there. These heavy destroyers did some damage to the Venom Crawler. And that was it for shooting. And they're not going to charge anybody, so we're going to go to morale and then Night Lord's turn too. So for chaos movement, these Space Marines moved forward. The bubble on the Noctilus crown extended 3 inches, so the 2 sectors moved the 3 inches to the edge of the bubble. The Space Marines in the castle just kind of moved up to the door. These Space Marines just kind of hanging out right now. The Knight moved up, kind of challenge these destroyers. And the Greater Possessed just kind of moved forward a little bit to charge into these destroyers here in a second. The sorcerer was able to cast Prescience on this group of Space Marines, giving them a +1 to hit. And the Master Possessions was able to cast Infernal Power, granting the Obliterator up here +1 to hit during the hit. Reroll 1s during the hit and win phase. Hit and win attack roll thingies. Yeah. So we'll go on to Night Lord's shooting. So there was some triumphs and some failures. The upper story Obliterator killed a heavy destroyer and heavily wounded the other one. The lower story Obliterator wiped out half of this Immortal squad. The Knight, his heavy stubber did nothing to the Locust Destroyers, and his Laser Destructor failed to hit the Catan. So we'll go on to charging and fight phase. So the Greater Possessed charged the Heavy Destroyer. Did no damage to him, but took a damage in return. So we'll do morale and then Necron turn 3. So sadly, one Immortal from this unit did indeed end up running away. So for the Necron movement, these guys are just hanging out. The Heavy Destroyer fell back from its combat. The Lord just moved over here to help these guys out. The Transcendent Catan moved up to kind of, I guess, show this Possessed what's going on. The Monolith moved forward. The Overlord gave that unit of Immortals that is standing still, my will be done. Void Dragon moved up. These Destroyers moved up. Orcan moved up and did not become empowered. And we have decided not to bring the Hexmark Destroyers in yet because not entirely sure if they're needed. So we'll do Catan powers. So Transcendent Catan did Transdimensional Thunderbolt on the Greater Possessed and almost killed him. And the Void Dragon did Voltaic Storm and almost killed him. So we'll go on to Necron shooting. That was a nice, satisfying round for the Necrons. This squad of Immortals destroyed the squad of Space Marines that used to be here. This squad of Immortals didn't actually do anything to these Space Marines, but they tried. The Void Dragon did a decent amount of damage to the Chaos Knight. The Monolith bracketed the Chaos Knight. The Immortals bounced a couple of shots off the Chaos Knight. So I believe that takes us to Necron charges and fights. Yeah, I see a lot of Destroyers in that Knight's feature. So after the charge and fight phase, the Transcendent Dan killed the Greater Possessed. The Scorpic Destroyers got the Chaos Knight down to 1 damage, and then they managed to actually save against the Reaper Chain Sword, so it's not looking good for the night. Yeah, that'll take us on to Chaos turn 3. Movement and Psychic. So the Psychers moved forwards a little bit. The Master of Execution is starting over towards these destroyers. The Chaos Knight very obviously moved back. These guys are staying close, just hoping to be able to get in charge range. The Rhino moved over a little bit. Space Marines moved up onto the bridge. Let the Lord behind them. The Master of Possession cast Incursion, summoning in this Demon Prince. And the Sorcerer cast Infernal Gaze on the Transcendent Catan, doing 2 damage. So that will take us to Night Lords shooting. Yay, shooting! So the Chaos Knight was at least able to fight back and kill off some of the destroyers. And the autocannon and the plasma pistol with the champion were able to kill off another destroyer. The lower level obliterator did the max damage to this Catan. The upper level obliterator did the max level to this Catan. So I believe that'll take us on to charging. So this group of Space Marines tried to charge the destroyer, and they failed to do so. But the Master of Executions charged it and killed it. It failed to reanimate. So that will take us on to Necron movements. Well, Necron turn 4. Movement and Catan. So for Necron movement, the squad stayed here, as did the Lord. The Destroyer moved up again. The Catan moved forward. The squad stayed here. The Monolith continued surging forwards. The Catan moved closer to the Master of Executions. And this grouping over here on the right side also all moved forward. This Catan did Transdimensional Thunderbolt to the Demon Prince, causing damage to it, and then subsequently did 1 damage to each of the Psychers around it. And then he did Cosmic Fire onto him, causing damage onto him. So we'll go into Necron shooting. So these Immortals killed off a lot of Space Marines. The Monolith, with its Particle Whip, killed off several more Space Marines. This full group of Immortals over here completely wiped out the Space Marines that were over there. And nobody killed the Knight this turn. And nobody is close enough to charge. So that takes us to the Night Lord's turn. So the Demon Prince flew up here, forward. The 2 remaining Chaos Space Marines have come out to the end of the ramp with the Chaos Lord behind them. The Rhino has moved up. The Demon Prince casts Smite on the Transcendent Catan, wounding it a little bit. The Sorcerer did the last little bit of 3 maximum damage per phase that Catan can take. So we'll go on to Chaos Shooting. Chaos, I believe, has decided that this Catan is worth a lot of things. So both of these attempted to kill the Catan with their plasma guns and failed. This thing shot at the Catan and failed. The plasma gun Space Marine killed himself with his plasma gun and failed. This guy failed. The Knight redeemed himself a little bit and did the maximum amount of damage to the Catan for the shooting phase. And the two Obliterators managed to mostly wipe out this squad right here of Immortals. So we'll go on to Chaos Charge. It'll be an epic fight between these two, I believe. So the epic battle I was anticipating did not quite happen. The Catan saved against the demonic axe attacks, and the Catan only did 2 damage to the Demon Prince. So, yeah, a little bit of a sad face there. But we'll go on to the Necron turn. So for Necron movement, the only thing that really moved was the lone remaining Immortal here kind of scooted over to the side so that the Monolith could kind of get a lot closer to the castle. The Catan moved a little bit closer to the Knight, and this entire right side thing just moved forward. It's 5. Still don't really see a need for the hex marks. Maybe they were just extra overkill, but yeah. So we get Cosmic Fire, which killed the Master of Possessions, slightly damaged the Demon Prince, and over here we did Antimatter Meteor, which severely damaged the Rhino. So we'll go on to Necron Shooting. So the Chaos Knight was able to save against the Void Dragon's spear attack. The Immortals did a little bit of damage to the Rhino. The Monolith mostly, he did a lot of damage to this Obliterator over here. And these Immortals, yeah, managed to kill off the Venom Crawler. So we'll go into charge and fight. So the Void Dragon charged the Knight, and it failed to Overwatch, and it definitely killed it, and it failed to explode, and then the other Catan finished off the Demon Prince. So yeah, that takes us to Chaos's turn. With very little left here. Probably the last stand. So yeah, these two guys shot their plasma pistols at this guy who wasn't there anymore because the Obliterator was able to kill him. And this Obliterator killed half of the squad over here, but none of them ran away. Yeah, that takes us over to the Necron turn. So after a rather ridiculous shooting round, the Necrons have successfully wiped out Chaos and retaken the castle back for themselves. They even have a Noctilus crown to play with. Maybe they'll find some new fun things to experiment. Well, thank you for joining me for this fun Fairy Kingdom journey again. And I'll see you next time. Have a good morning.